I'm so happy to be here. Hey, Facebook land and YouTube. Um, my name is Tammy Anderson Ward. I'm the Energy Healing Conference producer. And I want to say thank you so much for being here and being a part of our speaker spotlight today, where we are really wanting to introduce you to this fantastic person who's coming all the way from Montana. She's going to be coming down to our St. George energy healing conference. And you guys, I can't wait. This is just going to be so awesome. So, this is Audra Stoker. Her company is called Healing from the Heart. And today she's going to be talking a little bit about her story. I really want you guys to get to know her better. She's been doing what she's doing now in the healing field for over 20 years. Working as a massage therapist really helped her to understand the mind body connection. And she went on to also certify in emotion release therapy as well. Feeling and seeing just how past experiences affect our physical and emotional well being, she began to really search for more ways to really help herself and her clients. And that's when she discovered and found hypnotherapy. So, the deep and profound healing that can come from this whole new perspective can really shift lives. So she says cleaning up your inner world and your outer world will shift in parallel. So Audra continues to learn and gain new insights that she can then in turn share with her clients. She facilitates and hosts spiritual and emotional wellness retreats. And I'm so excited to have her come all the way down to beautiful St. George. This is a conference that's been so well attended in the past. It's just a beautiful, beautiful experience for so many people. And we have people that travel in from, nearby neighboring states. And it really is such a beautiful community down there. I call it a mecca of healing, a beautiful healing oasis down there. And her class is called Healing with the Subconscious Mind. You will be able to explore the mechanics of hypnotherapy, and she's going to be also doing somewhat of an introductory session. So maybe you've been afraid to experience it and try that in the past. You don't have to be. You can come in and really get a hold on it. You'll be able to gain a better understanding of the whole process and also be able to ask questions and learn what to expect while in hypnosis that she's doing for help. Discover the benefits of hypnotherapy, such as helping to understand and heal trauma, and also how it shows up in your life in different various ways. So, without further ado, let's learn more about this beautiful demonstration that's going to be happening this coming weekend in St. George, Utah. Hello, Audra. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm so honored to have you here. I'm going to go ahead and have you share a little bit more about your own story, how you got into this, and a little bit more also what's going to be happening at your vendor space and your class.
Okay. So I began, as she said, I was doing massage therapy for years and years. And I did begin to notice, wow, when I do massages, it releases a lot of emotion. And then through life and the experiences that life gives us, I came to a place that I was searching for something because honestly, I went into a grief cycle and I knew I needed to do something for myself. And I was led to emotion release therapy. And I absolutely believe in that modality and what it can do to help release those emotions and find what's stuck in the body. And that wasn't where my journey was to end. I was continually being led to different places. And once again, through a grief cycle, I was led to hypnotherapy. And it just speaks to my soul. It is a very deep and profound healing. We are able to go within in a deeper sense. As I'm working with you individually, I get to guide you into what caused that trauma and those events in your life. And it just, a lot of people are afraid of hypnotherapy because you see on stage these, they're asking you to do crazy things. That's just stage hypnotherapy or hypnosis. It's not even hypnotherapy, it's just stage hypnosis. It's here to bring entertainment. Some people think that I'm going to use a watch, and it's nothing like that. All I do is get you into a very relaxed state. Hypnosis is just an altered state of awareness. Every one of us go in and out of a state of hypnosis daily. When you're reading a book, you get so involved into that book, you feel like you're in there in that part. That's a state of hypnosis. When you're waking up in the morning or just going to sleep, you feel that very relaxed state. You're aware that you're awake, but you're so relaxed. That's about the state that I take you to. So it's very natural. It's just an altered state. You're very, very aware of what you're doing. And as you go into this state, I make sure that you connect to your higher self. That beautiful, unconditional, loving part of you that every one of us has. And I make sure that's connected because that's a very safe place for you to be. And we use that connection throughout our session. And with that, we end up going and finding what it is that you notice in your life, the emotions that you feel, the not good enough, the just the patterns, the beliefs that we carry. There's things that show up in our life. Some people say, "Oh my gosh, this always happens to me." It does, because we kind of create this story for ourselves. Humans are interesting people, interesting beings, because in order to keep our story alive, our belief that we're not good enough, we're not lovable, I don't deserve good things, whatever the belief is, we tend to create scenarios in our life that support that belief. And so through hypnosis, we're able to go in there and find the young part of you, the child part that began this belief through whatever experience in their life. Some people get really touchy with the word trauma. I have clients that come in and they're like, I didn't have a trauma experience. I had a wonderful childhood. My parents were wonderful. My siblings are great. We get along well. I don't have any trauma. That may be in the fact that everybody believes trauma, you have to be abused or some catastrophic event happen in your life. It doesn't have to be that big. Yes, there's big T's and little T's. And my experience was, as a child, my parents divorced. And I was very close to my dad. And when my mom moved me away 500 miles, my dad wasn't there anymore. I was 5 years old when we moved. And I grew up, I grew up in a loving home. I My dad wasn't completely out of my life. I saw him in the summer and at Christmas and such, but I felt this sense of abandonment. It's been a very interesting journey for me to understand that. And so it doesn't have to be a huge event. And it doesn't have to be anything that you even remember. The amazing thing is once we work with the subconscious mind, there are things that show up that I'll take you back, and it might be a memory you've remembered your entire life. You're like, oh yeah, I know this memory. It might take us to a memory that you had no idea was in there, an event that you're like, I don't remember that at all. I didn't even know that was in there. I have clients that have absolutely no childhood memories. And when we work with the subconscious mind, they are able to take them back to that event as a child that created this. Sometimes we've blocked out things that we didn't realize was there. It could even be a teacher. somebody said something, a bully at school, a friend didn't want you over at a party when she invited all the other friends. I mean, there's numerous things that we take on that we don't even realize was a huge part of our development and our belief system about ourselves. So through hypnotherapy, we go in, we discover these things, and it's a beautiful, beautiful practice that once we find those parts, we let them share because they are frozen in that time. They don't know you grew up. They're stuck in that time. That is all they know. And so when emotions or a situation feels very threatening to them and they're afraid and they're scared, that's when a trigger happens. And so when we are able to listen to them and validate them, and then we update them and let them know that you grew up, that you're in charge, you're an adult now, you can handle this. There's a huge shift that happens. We let them unburden all these beliefs and the emotions and the sensations that are in the body from that event. We let them release all of that and unburden that. And then we invite them to come join you in the present. And as that happens, it moves you into this new shift in your life. And
This
so
is this is really beautiful. I really didn't want to interrupt you, but I just had a
that's
couple of
okay.
questions that have come through, and that is,
Please, please.
people are wondering, like, what if they're just feeling really good in their life? They don't really feel like they have a lot of trauma and stuff. How could this benefit them, and in what way would you use, hypnotherapy? Is this only for people who really are feeling like super, held back or pushed down or sad all the time? That's one question, and then I'll ask the other
Okay.
question maybe.
Okay. So I guess what I would ask is if you're feeling really good in your life and you don't feel like you have any trauma and everything's going great for you, I guess I would ask you, why would you feel like you need to experience this? Or if it's just a sense of wanting to experience it, there's beautiful things that we do just so that you can experience it, so you can understand it. But one of the things that I would do is kind of like meditating, being able to really do that connection with your higher self. And just sometimes when we get in there, I'll ask the subconscious mind to kind of share what might be in there that you didn't know was in there. And we do a cleaning out thing or a sweeping. Sometimes it's a genetic thing. We have people come in and they're like, oh my gosh, this isn't even mine. So I guess if you're feeling great in your life and you just wanted to experience it, it would be this connecting, and I would go in and see if there is anything that's buried and hidden.
Yeah, so
Because sometimes people might think they're happy and
mhm.
it's just a coping mechanism.
Wow, and so if you somebody did go into a hypnotherapy, something else might, like, come up to the surface that could help them to uncover and help them just to heal that much more, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, what about somebody who really can't remember their childhood? Like, I know people
I
who
have
who are really close to me who they don't remember their childhood at all. Have you ever worked with somebody like that? And, like, what comes up for somebody? Like, do things still come up? Can you still help people even if they don't remember
absolutely,
consciously? Okay, talk about that for a
absolutely. I touched on a little bit earlier, but yes, I have two clients come to mind right away that they came in and they're like, I have no memories of my childhood. So I don't know if this is going to work. And one we worked with, and she uncovered some things that started to make sense in her life as to all this stuff. She's like, wow, I had no idea that was there. But it was a very vivid memory as we're in there. Another client, she is an incredible person. I met her 2 years ago, and she at one of my retreats, and she started working with me then, and she jumped right in. She saw me every week, and it was actually over Zoom. She wasn't even local. So we did Zoom calls every week for several months. And she found a lot of childhood memories that has made so much sense how it has affected her life and played out in her life. And she had no idea why she was angry. She was a really kind of a short, angry, get this done type of a no nonsense mom. And she said, but my anger gets a hold of me. And we found a part, and we've actually worked with this part multiple times. I have this phrase, parts have parts, meaning I can go back to a 3-year-old and work with that same 3-year-old time and time again, because each time they give new information of what that event was like. So yes, in short, absolutely, we can help you even if you have no childhood memories, because the subconscious mind has them all.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love the way that you put that too. And really something that you may not even understand or see as traumatic, maybe it is affecting you in ways that you just didn't even know. Like, I'll just share one, for example, that literally, like, I just barely came to the awareness. Literally, this is so funny that it was like a something that was maybe affecting me, and it was when I was 10 years old, I accidentally ran my brother over with a lawnmower, and it almost completely amputated his leg, and, like, I just always worried about my brother. I never even looked at, like, how it was affecting me, and it's crazy because 'cause I'm like, I'm 45 years old. That was 35 years ago, and it's okay for me to be like,
Absolutely.
"How is little Tammy doing?" You know?
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, because that is right there in a nutshell. We're so worried, we focus on what it did to your brother, but you don't stop and think, what was that like for me? What got help? The fear that I ruined my brother's life, that I almost killed him. I took his leg off. That trauma that sat in there that you didn't even know affected you. That's a perfect example, because often we're worried about the others. We don't notice what it affected us. And yeah, that is the perfect example.
I'm all trying not to cry, but you know what? It's okay. I'm gonna cry.
Let them out. I have people come in and they say, I'm sorry, I'm an emotional person. I'm like, oh, all emotions are welcome
Yeah,
here. Crying is healthy and loved here.
that's precious. Okay, so a couple questions. What if there's somebody that is watching this right now and they're like, "Man, I really wanna try this," but they're not gonna be at the St. George conference. Maybe they don't even live by you in Montana. How do people work with you? And, like, are you able to do Zoom, or how do you work with people that are out of state? Tell us a little bit about that and how they would book their own session if that's possible.
Yeah. So if you go to my website, Tammy's got it right there in front, Healing from the Heart, Hypnotherapy. That I just want to grab my name for a minute, because it is such a heartfelt centered healing modality. Um, Truly, it is just healing that comes from our heart. And so Healing from the Heart, hypnotherapy.com is my web page. And if you go on there, you can find out more information about the hypnosis, the hypnotherapies, the parts, working with parts. You go on there and we have retreats that we do. But so it's got my information on there, but you just send me an email, reach out to me, and yes, I do so many sessions by Zoom. And in fact, the gal I was just sharing about earlier that has worked with me for 2 years, like I said, I worked with her on Zoom, and at a retreat in May, I actually did a session on her at the retreat. And she smiled and she said, do you realize this is the very first time we've ever done a session in person? And I'm like, oh my goodness, you're right. I said, how was that? Was it different? And she said, no, I get just as much over Zoom as I do in person. So Zoom is wonderful and it works beautifully. I also have done FaceTime. I've done it through Google Chat. So there's, I mean, any of those forms are perfect.
Okay, that's awesome. Now I'd like to give you a moment to talk about your retreats because, um, you know, you're married into a family that, well, I guess my friend is married into a family that I just love her so much, and she is somebody who has experienced in person your retreats. She's also been to other retreats before, and she speaks so highly of your retreats. So I personally will be attending your retreat that you're doing. It's a spiritual retreat up in Montana at a beautiful hot springs location. And I'm going to have you go ahead and share more details about that, because there might be other people who maybe want to come and also experience this for themselves. I know I have been hearing about it literally for the last couple of years from my friend, and she doesn't just like say, how
No,
amazing it is, how life-changing it is, really. So I know I can't wait. So go ahead and share more details about that.
sure. So this is another passion of mine, and this is an example of how hypnotherapy changed my life, because I was a very shy and quiet person, child, teenager, and through the healing and the releasing of the trauma in my life, it shifted so much. And I don't know, all of a sudden, this opportunity got placed in my lap. And I tried to resist it because I'm like, no, no, I don't want to do that. How am I qualified to host and facilitate a retreat? And I had to let go of the fear and trust, and it was incredible. And the friend that Tammy is sharing happens to be a family member of mine, that she came up curious and wanted to support me. And she has not missed a one. She's been a beautiful, beautiful support of mine. And anyway, so the retreats are very dear to my heart. We focus on the spiritual healing, working with your intuition, really having you get in tune and in touch with your higher self and trusting yourself. So we work a lot with the spiritual, and then we work with the trauma. We do a lot of information about how trauma sits in our life, how it affects our lives. We work with generational healing and things that sit there. We have sound baths and breath work, yoga. I have incredible people that do those modalities. They are so wonderful and supportive, and it just, all of it comes together. And yes, we sit in this, it's a tucked away in a canyon. As you're going up the mountain road, and all of a sudden you hit this canyon, it's like you're in a whole different world. Everything from the outside, there's internet there, but there's no cell range, so you can reach out to the outside world if you want, but majority of people kind of shut down and spend that whole weekend just really in this healing. And I have so many people that have come time and time and time again. And it is beautiful. Each time we have returns, and each time we get new people. So it continues to ripple out. And I have had people come that said, I don't even know who I am. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, but who am I? I don't even know. She is now certified in emotion code and just expanding and going out. And she says it's because she came to the retreat and saw a new shift in her life. And I can't talk enough. I love them. It's a passion I have, and it just helps ripple that bigger effect of healing. And so again, you can find more information about them on my website. Just click onto the retreat page and it'll give you some more information about that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. And so yeah, Michelle lives in Kansas, and she came to our conference in Sandy this past summer, and I've gotten to know her really well, and I just adore her. And Michelle is also going to be holding her own conference in Kansas. So I'm so excited. But Michelle, like, seriously, come to the retreat. My husband and I are going to be going to that. It's going to be so much fun. I'm really looking forward to it. So thank you so much for your time today, Audra. I know you're busily
Thank
preparing
you.
to go out of state so that you can come through multiple states to come through all the way down to conference that we are doing this Saturday. So Go ahead if you're interested in participating this weekend and check it out, energyhealingconference.com. Click on events and then St. George, and you'll get to see all of the amazing speakers. We've got things like sound bath, breath work, and of course, Audra is going to be leading a introductory session of hypnotherapy there. Oh, will you share about what's going to be happening at your vendor space too? I would love to have you touch on that as well.
Oh, sure. So I will have information about the retreats and hypnotherapy there. And then I have some offers that if you sign up this weekend, if you book a hypnotherapy with me, you can do a buy one, get one 50% off. I have a drawing for a free session. If you fill out a little survey about things that show up in your life, you just fill a survey out and I have a drawing available there. So
Awesome.
it will be
Now,
exciting and I will be there to answer questions.
that is awesome. Now, I'm curious if there is somebody who's watching live right now, do they have the possibility to get in on that special, or do they have to be live in person, there this weekend?
No, I would love to have, if they are watching live, but they are unable to attend the session, please just go to my website, get my email address. It's easy. It's audra.stoker.com Gmail, but it's on my website. Go there, tell me that you watched this live, and I would be more than happy to honor that with you.
Okay, that's wonderful. Up until Saturday, right? So, okay. Well, I thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you this weekend. Thanks everybody for your time today. See ya.